And I will call this meeting to order. If you do have cell phones, please silence them at this time. And if you would please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Let you conduct the roll call then.
I can do that. Commissioner Day,
Present.
Commissioner Kanda,
He will be present shortly.
Commissioner Flower,
Present.
Attorney Clint Smith,
Present.
and Clerk to the Board Kelly Camper present by Zoom.
Thank you, Kelly. You weren't in the room, so I was going to bypass you.
Don't look me over.
My apologies. Okay, and audience introductions. I guess we'll start with you, Deb.
Deb Adams.
Deb Adams is here, and we have Vernon Roth back here behind the controls at the present time. And we have some people online, and if anybody goes to speak later, I would ask that you identify yourself for the record, please. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
I guess not. Kelly, did we talk about needing to move something?
I think that would be on the
Or was
3rd.
that on the 3rd?
Yes, we did, and that's on the 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, good. I have none, sir.
I have none either. So we have the approval of the minutes for 5/27, 5/31, 6/7, 6/8, 6/15, and 6/17.
I would move that we approve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of minutes as aforementioned.
I would second that. Discussion on any of those?
Went through them, they look good. Thanks, Kelly.
So I had talked to you, Kelly, about 1 or 2 items on there. I didn't go back and look. Were those addressed?
Yes, got those corrected. And Tom had a few typos also, so I got those too.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Okay. Those in favor then of approving the minutes as stated, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And none of those opposed? All right, motion carries. Commissioner items. Mr. Flower.
Thank you, sir. I don't know why every time I do that, there we go. I'll go through my calendar since our last BOCC meeting. July 13th, we had a planning and zoning commissioner workshop in the evening. I attended that. July 14th, planning and zoning interview workshop here. July 18th, I attended the Central Front Range Transportation Planning Region meeting in Divide. Talked about the grants that had been awarded. And then the 19th, we had a special BOCC meeting here. I also attended the weed board meeting on the 19th. 22nd and 23rd was involved with Custer County Recycles, getting ready for the open house. It was on Saturday the 22nd. Had a good turnout there, and obviously you were there and appreciated you being in attendance. So that's kind of what my calendar's been. I don't really have anything else consequence.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Was that, I guess you'd say the bulk of those meetings, so I won't go back through those. Also, for information, I did meet with Bill Ritter, the chief from the Florence Fire District yesterday, and Tanner Webb and Clay from the Wetmore Fire. We did take Bill Ritter around and let him look at the service area there around Wetmore in regards to them trying to take Wetmore area on their EMS. Seemed to be very pleased with the boundaries that we were looking at. Have not been to the board officially. They all know we're coming, but I'm waiting still from direction from them as to when they would like for us to come to them for that MOU. And that's the major thing that I had going here.
Yeah, I met with Tanner the other day as well. He wanted some information about refunding some money from ARPA grant that we gave them. And then they'd like to reapply for that same dollar amount for radios. So he felt like because radios weren't in the original grant application, that they needed to return the money and then make a request. And I told him I thought that was appropriate.
Yes. So, yes, that was that half of that 12,000 that they had asked for to split between those other two entities.
Yep.
Okay. And Clint, do you have anything for us this morning?
Not a whole lot. I attended that workshop with the planning commission as well. I'm a member of the weed board, so I attended that meeting on July 19. Talked to Kelly briefly about a Cora request that she had received, and apparently all the county clerks are getting the same request. But that's about all I've done since our last meeting. And I did send out a memo to the commissioners yesterday evening. I was thinking the Board of Equalization was meeting this morning, but that's next week. So, but I just did a little memo just to try to justify my big paycheck.
You're doing a lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Okay. And I can't look at Dorothy to see if she has anything for us anymore,
I
so
don't have anything. I have tomorrow, Tuesday.
congratulations,
Yeah,
by the way.
that's right.
So I guess I could ask Jordan if he has anything since he's behind the desk over there.
Awesome donuts.
He's got something, doesn't he?
That's
Yeah,
it.
are
Hey,
you
guys.
sharing those donuts, Jordan?
Good morning, sir.
Sorry about the delay from home. We got it.
All right, I'm happy to hear that. Did you have anything as far as commissioner items? this morning,
Yes.
sir?
Couple things on the airport. Been talking with CDOT Aviation Branch, Todd Green. And they are willing to deal with us. They're going to lower the match to 5% instead of 10. And get the cost back to about where our match was on the new chip seal or not chip seal, but the chip seal and the new treatment top coat. As soon as I know, we'll figure out where we are. I'll bring it in.
It's good that they're gonna drop that.
Yeah, it puts us back in the same ballpark with a better seal.
Okay. Public comment. If anybody has anything that's not on the agenda, feel free to bring it at this time.
I
Yeah.
just want to acknowledge your new website and the work of Vern and Jordan. It's great. Much easier to navigate, easy to find things. I sent them a list of corrections and they've already done it. So kudos to Custer County having a new website. It was great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Sorry, you weren't here when I said it.
Silence the phone.
So. All right. Do we have any unfinished business? Anyone?
I do not.
None here.
None here either. Okay, new business. Our first item for consideration is AP and out of cycle checks. Mr. Wilson.
Got a few?
I think there's a couple in there. Oh, goodness. Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too.
Good morning, sir.
How are you? Good. How are y'all doing? That's good. Prop that up somehow there.
Why didn't we hear from, did Clint have anything good to say today?
Did we hear?
Oh, yeah.
We did.
I wanted to hear all the good stuff.
He was there before you got here.
Well, I got those reports over to you. We should be getting those quicker. We found, I guess this is more of a report from my department, but Lisa, working with CIC, managed to figure out a huge pain point in our payroll system, which is accruals for leave accruals. And so that's streamlined things significantly. And so I'm more hopeful that that gap will get bigger between this meeting and getting the reports out. So that's exciting, at least in our world. Payroll.
It was exciting in your world, that tweaks us.
Exactly, yeah. So payroll report, that's there for you all to look at, but not vote on. And then I guess first up, maybe we can take a look at AP report.
Unless we still have a signature page on the bottom of that payroll.
Yeah, we just ignore that. Yeah.
Because, you know, I always want to say something about it.
You're welcome. We can print it off and sign it. It just,
You can sign it.
that would just be government at its best at that point. Put it in the round file.
Any questions from anyone on the AP report?
None from me.
I do have, sir. If I may,
You may.
page 18,
Page 18. Okay,
I'm assuming those top two are not a duplicate. They're two different things, although the numbers seem to be identical.
$16.
I don't mind paying Carlin, but I sure as hell hate to pay her twice.
They are different.
Are they?
Yes,
Okay.
they are different.
And how would we know that? Because
Should be a number. on it.
every number is exactly the same.
Same.
I know it, and I have receipts. They're two different items, but they're exactly with change. It's all.
So they fall in the same category and all that.
They didn't remember I submitted them, so.
Yeah, I
so-
just,
So you get one $32 check or two 16.
However you
Correct.
want to do it.
Well,
No,
however it is, it ought to be different if it's
Yeah.
two check or two.
no, it's already done. It's a $32 check. It's the
It's
detail.
$32.
The details broken out here.
Yeah,
One's for rod and hooks and one's for curtains.
oh,
yeah.
Gonna be the
Yeah.
So
same.
they
I
are
just thought it
different.
was-
I can see that.
thought it
It's
was
amazing they came out at
interesting.
the same.
Right, exactly.
penny, huh?
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
And then, page 28, let's see. Sheriff's vehicle. Do you know, is that the final payment on that, or do you know where we're at on that lease purchase?
The 39,000. That should be the full purchase price for that vehicle.
Okay,
Yes, because that was one of the vehicles that they had budgeted for last year that did not get in this year or until just this month, last month. And so that was the full purchase price.
you did note purchase of, so, yeah, okay. Page 29. Maybe around Mountain Water. Well, if I understand this correctly,
Mhm.
and I'm bringing this up not necessarily to you as the finance director specifically, but we're paying $1,068 for utilities, which happens to be water and sewer only for the sheriff's bill. I think that's insane. unless there's something I don't understand about it. If I had $1,000 water bill, whoo. So I didn't know if that was truly just for June, or I didn't follow up with the sheriff.
Is it only the sheriff? Are we sure?
I'm taking a look at the invoice right here.
It's like Gordon's.
I don't think it is.
No.
It's under their department.
Yeah, but that could be.
Lisa, do you have?
I do.
Some
It's-
detail on that.
So if you could look at the line items on the actual check, there are about 4 different accounts that are all going to the same vendor. So it's all combined.
All under the sheriff.
Oh, it's just,
This
I
is
don't-
under the
Under
sheriff.
the sheriff, there might have been 2 or 3 bills that were on there.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me look into that one because the invoice itself doesn't
'Cause I
actually
didn't-
say a whole lot.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, the way we see it, it looks like that was for the month of June for the sheriff's department, so. And then page 42, take your time, no hurry. It's probably the same kind of thing I see there was. An expense for gas for VSO, but it was at 2 different prices on the same day.
Mhm. 2 different invoices.
So they just hit your desk the same day.
Well, one was missing. Sherry had called and asked if I had seen where it was, and I said no, so she sent them over at the
Okay.
same
All
time.
right. Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Appreciate that.
There's a typo on that first one.
Yeah, well, we're not gonna
holler about that.
I know, you just brought it up.
Concrete.
Sounds like you did.
No.
Fuel, FULA.
on VA veterans,
Fula.
Oh, what page was that?
42.
42. Okay, gotcha. Fool.
I was not gonna bring that up, of
Well,
course.
since you were on that.
Kevin's a nitpicker.
And then just a general question. I see that it looks like the county paid for a physical duty. Does the county pay for those? I thought those were
Road
all
and
the
Bridge,
employees.
the Road and Bridge does pay for the employees' CDL physicals.
It's 50.
They went up, I think, to $100.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should, I think there was 6 of those on there.
Mhm.
And then page 52. I don't know why we're giving paying any bills from tourism. They ought to be paying their own. So I had a question for Deb. That Vista Works 25,000, the CTO, Colorado Tourism, that was a pass-through.
That's
grant
the
dollars.
balance of the grant money. So it was money in and then it was money out.
I assume that's what that was.
It was a big check.
We've always done that.
Let's see, 56. I was hoping that Adrian Washington would be on, but the Gina Maloney line for 1,098. I would ask if that's out of a grant. You may or may not know that. Is he on? He's on. Adrian, can you hear me? This is Tom.
It's Linda. Hold on, let me go get him.
I've got it. Hello, Tom.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
I am fine, sir.
Good. If I may, Mr. Chair,
Please do.
pursue that. Give me just a second now because I jumped off of that page.
That's his grant labor.
Well, Commissioner Canada must have answered it, so we're good.
That's what I think it is.
I didn't hear your question, though. I was stepped in another room.
Okay, give me a second.
Page 56.
I heard Gina Maloney.
Yeah, is that off of a grant, contract labor?
Yeah, the contract labor would be off the EMPG grant for 2022.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
And then some of her payroll also is for her time in the state EOC, and that's an in and out. So we reimbursed her and the state reimbursed us.
Okay,
Make whole.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Anything else, sir?
No, that's it. Thank you.
I'm just gonna note, I think on 58. Then I see that partial load of fuel that the airport got came in at, looks like 721 a gallon.
I think it was less than that. What does it
I
show?
just took the 14,326
Yeah,
and
but-
divided it by 1987, which was their net.
That was the
gallons.
net gallons that,
Yeah.
they see, but I think there was a mixed charge in there. Let me find out,
Okay.
because they told me it was less than 7 gallons, or right at $7.
Okay. But if there were other fees, that still goes to the gallons.
Yeah, that's what it was,
On
because
the
it was a
bottom line.
partial load.
So, all right, that was the only thing I had other than what was brought up. So, I would entertain a motion. Or did we?
No, we did not. I'll move
No.
to authorize or approve the AP report for July in the amount of $4,455,755.60.
Second that.
Yeah, we've got a motion on the floor to approve the AP report in the sum of 445,755.60. Any other discussion? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Well, the cycle, I guess, would be next.
Yes, sir. One page.
Yeah.
Not a bad deal.
Next month, we'll probably have maybe 2 pages because Black Hills didn't get in time. So
So, well, I would hope Chairman Day would have a comment about this page.
Well, he might. Which one would you like?
Oh, I'd like for you to speak to the
Which
very
one?
first one. The rest of them, I don't think you'd particularly be.
I actually hand delivered that check. That is something I guess I didn't bring up on Commissioner
That
items.
is true.
I did attend the closing for the 7 lots in Silver Cliff
Mhm.
and that Central Colorado title and escrow. That is line number 1. The county's check was for $20,884.83.
Sweet. So we're lock, stock and barrel done.
We are in possession of those 7 lots.
Good, good.
Now what are you gonna do with them that you own?
That is probably something that more than just myself would need to
You
decide.
bought them. So.
I have a couple of ideas, but I think we all do. So that is something we need to probably meet on.
I do think it's helpful for the public to know that that was a killer deal with Colorado Mountain College. It was land that had been donated to them. And so it was just kind of sitting there. And so this was paid for with ARPA funds, with the intention of some sort of attainable housing.
And a real good deal.
And there were
They,
7
they were
lots.
regretting that they
7 lots.
Yeah.
didn't sell them.
I was
Didn't hold them.
I was
3 lots
regretting,
together,
uh,
and then 4 lots.
I had actually been in talks with them before the county, or somewhere in between the county making a talk.
You were
with
gonna
them
dig
to-
deep into your.
Yeah, to buy the lots
moth-eaten
myself,
wallet.
so I'm regretting that the county bought them.
Well, you drug your feet on signing that check.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so those lots average $2,900 a piece, and they're probably,
They
they got about 6,000-7,000 a piece easy.
at least more than that. That's why they were pushing this. If you're not gonna take them, we want to sell them.
Yeah, so good. We need to move forward on the whole workforce housing effort. And this should be a good start.
Well, I move we accept the out-of-cycle checks as presented, $24,660.16.
Second that. Further discussion. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Gentlemen, mind if I stay sitting here for the next item?
I suppose we could do that. Our next item up is consideration of the county building 4-day work week. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty. So I sent this last night, early this morning, however.
It was great. It was great nighttime and early wake up.
Yeah, they double as a fan, so. All right, so since we've met last, this considerations report here is pretty similar to what I originally presented. Kind of cleaned up the proposal to make a little bit more sense. There's a little more clear, hopefully. Again, I think the big piece of this with the why we're changing is that employees are our most important assets in providing great service and resources to our county residents. And the ask from last meeting was what does the public have to say about this? And so I've updated the proposed timeline based on that conversation at our last meeting. And through that 6th through 29, July 6th through the 29th period, became more of a campaign to notify the public of the potential change, which consisted of a 1-minute survey for the public in each department, and then a notice in newspapers on the website and on the doors, which they had access to an online form of that same survey through those avenues.
You get a lot of hits on the online stuff.
Online, we got 6. Is what it came down to. There were 6 responses online and 121 responses total.
Cool.
So I was very pleased with the rate of responses on that. And we'll dig into that data here in just a second. So again, this proposed first day of starting August 1st, this coming Monday, and then a review coming up August 31st. So I've now got this split into internal data and external data. The internal data is the same as what I had presented before, plus I think there was a couple of things that we talked about that needed to be added in here. So for example, threats, public discontent during implementation period or longer, not just during the implementation period. And then also the idea that it's a strength, excuse me, a strength for recruitment of new staff and retention of staff. So those are a couple of the things that we talked about in the meeting that were added there. The other considerations were just as presented before. So I'll just move past that. The data I've got on one page now. From
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I know I did talk to other counties about it, and they also said that they made an opportunity for like septic inspections on a Friday or some other options, but it would be additional cost. Did you guys consider that at all?
I know that just in talking with Dorothy and Carlin, that I think they're certainly open to whatever it needs to look like. If there's a big demand for Fridays, I know just in talking with them that, since Carlin started, at least we haven't had an inspection on Fridays. Anecdotally, I think there's been maybe 1 or 2 people that have said
It could be
all
an
of our
emergency
extensions,
or whatever.
we want to have our
But you gotta have
inspections on Friday, but
I think she would like to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to say if it's the planning and zoning department that holds this up, I am more than willing to come in on Fridays to do inspections. Right now, we're not doing inspections on Friday because Dennis is not available on Fridays. However, I've started doing the inspections. I'm comfortable going out there and doing them, and if I need some advice, I have 3 options of people to call. So I am willing to come in on Friday if we need to, if there's a, rainy weather, whatever. If that's an issue for our contractors, I will make myself available.
Yeah, and the other counties have used a small fee difference because it's out of turn, but when the contractors all got used to doing it, it seemed like it.
And that's actually something I would like to bring up in the near future. Maybe we can do a workshop on that.
Maybe so.
Awesome.
Okay, fine.
So the data as far as what the counts were, that wasn't updated at all. The only thing that I mentioned there, start at the bottom, is that the survey data supports the same trends. So we were able to, in the survey, determine when they came in, what day they came in. So we can't say that that was a total count, but based on the number of surveys filled out that day, it still followed these same trends of beginning of the week is heavy, towards the end of the week is lighter as far as traffic goes.
Are those actual numbers on the list? So on Friday, week 3, there was 15 or 12 or something.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So this is the new part. This is the analysis and data
Wait,
from.
one other question.
Yeah.
What office? Do you know which offices were visiting, or was it just the clerk?
Not in this particular piece. So I can speak
Okay.
more to that here, and I might have to pull up the raw data to
Okay, that's okay.
answer some of that. But
Good. Go ahead.
yeah, so this was the Custer County Services 1-minute survey that ran from July 18th to the 27th. It was available in all outward facing departments in the county building. And so, for example, IT and finance, we had some there just in case, but we didn't have anybody that came in from the public as far as that goes. There's 121 responses received during that period, and the online surveys were made available to those who scanned the door signs or used the link in the newspaper or on the website. So that first pie chart there is the responses by the department. The clerk's office, by and large, got most of the responses. I think we can pretty much determine that that's the amount of traffic. I think it's safe to assume that this is pretty similar to the traffic that comes through those offices. I didn't hear anything from folks saying that with the exception of the treasurer's office, that they had a hard time getting people to fill it out. So I think it pretty much lines up with the number of people that went in. So, and again, email, like we said, there was only 6 responses, so that only accounted for about 5% of the total there. The second page starts to dive into who our county residents are as far as how often they're actually coming. So the frequency that they conduct in-person business per these surveys is by and large 1 to 3 times per year. And it's very, very few that come in more than once a week, and it just kind of gets less and less from there. Less than once per year is kind of a different one there, but I would say
once a week was 52%.
no, that's more than once a week is 3%. 1 to 3 times per year is 52. This one here.
Oh, I see.
Yep, that first one there. Yeah. We asked the question and had several choices of why you're conducting today's business in person rather than online. And by and large, the answer was they prefer to work with a person. The next thing would be that they save online credit card fee. And then after that, it's either a comment about online not being easy to use or they didn't even know about it, I would say that there's a ton of other answers. We left a blank for other. I would say the most frequent other answer was something about the fact that they were in town already. So it was out of
It's
convenience.
like a couple
So-
of them are lonely. They love the office staff.
Right, exactly.
I need to talk to somebody.
I think that's a huge testament to the clerk's office. They have great staff. All right, and so then this last page of the data itself, when asked what their preferred day to conduct business was, 2/3 said they have no preference. I would take that to mean that it's just as they need to come in. It's not necessarily reliant on a particular day. But there were some that did answer a particular day there. Monday, of course, being Monday and Tuesday being the top. And then the effect on doing county business. So asked the question, I stated what we were proposing, moving towards different open hours and being closed on Fridays, and then asked the question how this would affect them conducting business with the county. If it had no effect, they put it was a 3. If it was very negatively affecting them, it was a 1. If it was very positively affecting them, it was a 5. And so by and large, there's no preference there. 71 answered no preference. When you add up the two, on the negative side, we've got 21. And if you add up the two on the positive side, we've got 29. So it pretty well is right in the center there of being no preference. So then
know
this,
why they were negative on it.
no, there wasn't a comment piece. There were a few people that made some comments on it. But not enough to be able to tell
None on the
anything
positive side
particular.
either.
No comments, period. Yeah.
Thought
No.
if they cared one way or the other, they wanted to make sure we understood how it meant.
Right. Yeah.
Sounds like they're ambivalent a little bit.
And so this was my analysis of the data here, and I think is important to understand is that the average county resident only conducts county business in person 1 to 3 times a year. They conduct business in person rather than online because they prefer to work with a person. They don't have a preferred day to conduct business in person, and they have a neutral to somewhat positive view of the county 4-day week proposed changes. And when you average out those numbers on a point scale, 1 being very negative, 5 being very positive, it comes out to an average of 3.2. So it's just this side of no preference or no effect to it. So that's the new data there.
On the cost, it's really the cost of driving. What you're looking at. What about the cost of the heat? Are we gonna save anything? Or is there gonna be a break? even?
Well, we talked about that last time, and it sounds like that it probably would be negligible. I think, we could certainly give it a shot to see if we could change put some timers or make sure people turn down heat AC for the weekends, which it's not currently doing, but I don't particularly know if that would actually make a difference when it comes down to the efficiency of it or not.
Probably doesn't. Opening and shutting the door is what changes the temperature. If it's open
True.
a lot, then
Yeah.
maybe so.
Yeah.
That'd be something we find out in arrears.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Kept tabs on that.
I think the potential is there. But at this point, it's just that.
Anything from you, sir?
Yes, thank you. Thanks for doing this. Obviously, you spent some time and thought on the employee's behalf, so appreciate that. I've had a discussion with Mike Halpin about courts and some possibilities about that. I guess we'll just have to flesh that out as we go. And then you mentioned a review in 30 days. Is that enough time?
I think that was just maybe an initial review, and at that point, considering another review date. I think especially given some of those discussions regarding the courts and how are we going to handle that. I think there's going to be some things pretty quickly that we need to address. And then there might be more of a 3-month period where we go back and look and say, okay, now that we've got this time under our belt, what are the non-urgent things that we're starting to discover?
Wise to do it when the snow starts flying.
Right, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of Mike's concerns was probation
Mhm.
being upstairs, hardwired into the state computer system. And right now that is scheduled to be on Thursdays and Fridays. He also indicated there hasn't been historically a lot of court activity on Friday. But we discussed using an accordion gate to shut off the hallway. He thought these 2 bathrooms would service the courts.
Mhm.
And then either gate off the upstairs or leave it open because of probation.
Oh, yeah.
So it would be an accordion at the hallway heading east,
Yes.
right there. Okay.
That was our thought and suggestion anyway.
Mhm.
And then leave this door open during court hours on Friday. Another concern he had was who was going to be responsible for clearing the building. I would assume if court's open and we're closing, it would be the court's responsibility.
It's their building.
One of his concerns was that he knows he's not going to be here every Friday in the event that they do have activity going on, whether it be court or just people wandering in the courthouse or coming in to conduct business with the court.
He can't come every Friday.
No, he said he knows that this next year he will not be here every Friday, so they would have to work that out. I don't think it would be our responsibility to clear the building if we're closed on Fridays. But, across the board, I'm willing to support this. I will not support having planning and zoning working on Fridays if no one else is. We knew going into this was a decision that was going to affect our employees and citizens of this county. And one of the people that it's going to affect will be septic contractors. They're just going to have to deal with it. I don't think it's right to ask planning and zoning director to come in on Friday to do work when we say we're not going to work on Friday. That's what we're saying. So that's where I should go.
Well, I think after an initial breaking in period, so to speak, that once people get used to something, that will iron out.
Yeah, I agree. Just that initial shock factor of not being able to conduct business on a Friday. That's the risk we're going to take if we vote to go to a 4-day week.
And then we had kind of talked some about blocking off for the courts on our previous meeting, and we kind of discussed that if all of the offices were locked up, there was not really a problem if we left the hallway open.
Yeah, can I speak to that?
You may.
It was part of Mike helping and I's conversation about that. We are not in the consistent habit of locking the basement. He was very concerned that if somebody left that basement door unlocked, and people went down the basement and then clearing the bathrooms. That was really one of his big concerns. I agree. We did talk about we lock all the doors. Well, if we lock the basement door religiously, then that shouldn't be a concern either. But
Yeah, I think it ought to be cordoned off as well because the bathrooms. Other people might be talking about.
I did a little research, an accordion gate to fit the opening right to the east of the pop machine. We're looking about $400. without
full length.
installation,
According,
7 feet high. I don't know about upstairs. That's even, in my opinion, a little more risky upstairs than down here. If we don't cordon it off. There'll be less traffic upstairs and there'll be more opportunity for people to misbehave up there. Than there would be down here in the hallway. I think the hallway will be pretty easy to cordon off because wouldn't have any business being down there on Friday.
So when you mentioned probation, it's probation dealing with the courts, not dealing with probation upstairs.
He said probation, I assumed he meant with the courts,
Okay,
but he was talking about the office upstairs.
right. So
So
if
probably
it,
both.
if it needed to
Probation
happen,
is part of the court system.
it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
so-
their office is upstairs.
Yeah, so if they're required to be open 5 days a week, it's either move that office downstairs somewhere, which I don't see how you do it, but people have to be able to, I don't know if probation could do something else other than meet with clients on Friday. That's generally what probation is all about, is meeting with people on probation.
Did Mike say that there was a requirement, Tom?
He just said that
Did
the
mention-
office hours are Thursday and Friday.
So they,
So if
Nobody
the
asked
court
if they would
says
be
you gotta
willing.
meet with your probation officer and they can't get upstairs to do that. He was concerned about moving the hardware, all the wiring, and then I was concerned about where. We don't have any place else to put a probation officer.
but there would be, they picked Thursday and Friday for some reason. Somebody maybe ought to ask, can they move it to Wednesday and Thursday? I don't know.
Yeah.
That seems like a logical thing before we spend money.
and based on what I've heard from the courts is there is a lot of discussion there right now, given where this is at, that Jeffco has a 4-day week. They don't work on Friday for the courts. And so
Fremont County. same.
I know there's a lot of discussion right now on what that's going to look like here in the near future on their end. So
Well,
are
that's
you,
another one of those things we need to consider
Mhm.
conditionally here.
right? Were you suggesting with the gate upstairs? I was just trying to wrap my head on that, or 2 upstairs being like barring off the extension map room, printer room, or,
No,
Bottom of the stairs.
we weren't. We were thinking about
okay,
here, but yes, that's a possibility. Again, there'd be restrooms up there that have to be cleared at the end of the day and the upstairs itself. Originally, my thought was if we lock all the doors to the offices, we've probably done our due diligence.
Mhm.
Mr. Halpin was quick to point out that we're not talking about the average citizen client here. We're talking about people being here because they've got issues obeying the law. And I really hadn't thought about that. So his thought was the less space available for them to access, the better off for everybody.
That's why they ought to consider shutting down on Friday.
Yeah.
So that-
Well, they don't have the authority to.
I
No,
work next
but-
door to probation. I've never seen a probation officer here on Friday. They're here on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I don't know if that matters or not. I
Yeah.
just thought I would throw that out there. I've been up there 30 years. I've never seen a
Yeah.
probation officer here on a Friday.
And I mentioned to Mike, could they change their days? And he said, I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm just letting you know, in 30 years, they've only been there on Wednesdays and Thursdays.
That's why we need to know information, JC. Thank you. So,
Well, I don't know why we
Those are
can't
just the
have
days
them
before
look into what they can do before we spend any money.
Yeah.
Is that logic? It's up to them. They gotta pay for it.
because I think in that
Clear the
conversation,
building, I should say.
yeah, it brought up that we probably ought to be doing that in some form every day of the week.
Sure.
And as far as I know, I mean, over at the Rock House, we're pretty small, so have a pretty good idea if anybody's in there or not. But over here, I don't know if there is a system as to locking up and checking bathrooms,
Somebody
or if
did
that's
that.
just the janitor, the custodial staff that, kind of makes their way through, and that counts. But
good point on that.
Yeah, you know, when I first started working here, the basement door was locked more than it was unlocked, and that's changed over the years. Our insurance company has told us you really shouldn't be conducting business down there at all. We've made an exception if human services. But I think it should be locked. It just gets so dank and musty down there. We don't get some air, but someday somebody's gonna take a tumble down those stairs and we'll always be to lock it. But
Well, that's something we ought to require and open it when we can, clear the building, make sure it's locked. It's like we would make sure anything else is locked.
I just want to say to Dorothy, thank you for being willing to do that on Friday. I'm not trying to be cantankerous.
No.
Certainly respect your willingness to work with people, but I just think if we're going to do it, let's do it. If we're not, let's not. I just think we'll be opening a can of worms. That's my-
And I think we've talked to several of the contractors. There was really only one that I know of that was a little,
Cantankerous.
yes, thank you. And we offered for him to come today, and he's not here.
And we
As far as I
also,
can-
that particular contractor has never even requested a Friday inspection since I've been here. So I don't know how much of an issue it really was.
I talked to the majority of our larger contractors, and they were all fine with it.
Good.
I think change is just kind of hard for everybody. You know, the older I get, the harder it is. But it's always hard initially, I think. Well, and I would state, and I think I stated last time around, the bulk of my career I have spent working shift work in different odds and ends, and I spent a lot of time working 410s, and it's a shift that is greatly appreciated on that side of the table. I know I appreciate it a lot. It gives you that extra day to conduct business and be family time and things of that nature as well. So I would be supportive of this issue.
I'm willing to give it a shot, take a look at it twice for sure. And then let's see how the septic things come, if they come up or not. Other counties have made exceptions if there were real urgent reason for it. And I don't think we're in the business of serving the people here, not dictating to them. Unless it's, you want to keep your best interests at heart. So I move that we consider moving to a 4-day work week on the hours you propose.
Does that include the review on August 31?
And on the next one out, that's what we discussed for the winter time. See how it plays out.
I would second that. Any further no, go
Well,
ahead.
I just had a
Now we can-
question on this, because Brady's proposal is this would start on Monday. Would you be able to get the accordion doors and everything in place in
No.
time?
We would not be able to have that in place at that time. So we would have to do a little more thorough.
Yeah, we can't move to it immediately. That's when I said what I did, it was, we got to make sure the courts are going to be good, or what ones we're going to cordon off and make it effective.
Maybe until then we put a rope across there with a sign or something. Lock the doors.
The doors have to be locked.
I think we could implement it and get the doors in as soon as possible, but we just have to be a little more diligent when we, at the end of the day, make sure that we got everything cleared out.
That's probably worth the risk.
Yeah, I was assuming we'd go with the August 1st deadline and lock all the doors for
Right.
now and deal with it as soon
Okay.
as possible. But that was my assumption. That's not the motion, so.
No, I thought initially that was the
I
motion.
said the hours that he's proposed, so we can
Starting, you want to add that to your?
We can
motion?
start him, and I'll make Starting as you proposed.
August 1st, which would be Monday.
Mhm.
Did you have something, sir?
No, I was just confused on what the motion actually was.
I will restate it and correct me if
Go
I'm
ahead,
wrong.
no.
The motion is to move forward with the proposed 4-day work week starting August 1st with the same, the hours as stated, with the review on August 31st and a following one to be set the August 31st.
And all doors locked.
And all the office doors, all the doors locked. Motion was made by Bill, seconded by Kevin. Hearing no other. Go
I'm
ahead.
waiting for you to ask.
Okay,
If I could just add real quick, because I'm not sure I said it during this meeting, those proposed hours would be employees working from Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 5:30, and then open to the public Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5.
sure. Tom,
Thank you. So I'd like to go back to the other consideration page. We talked about this before. I think it's appropriate to bring it up again. We're going to pay for our employees to take an hour for lunch, as we have currently been doing.
Yes.
Okay? That's in opposition to what our policy says, correct?
But in accordance with what we've actually been doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So we could, because the policy is in opposition to itself, we have to clean up the policy, because either way, if we said that it was unpaid, then our 40-hour work week is incorrect, which it is now. If we go by the
40-hour
unpaid
work
piece,
week, so it's period.
but if we go by the 40-hour work week, then it's paid. So the paid part, the unpaid part is incorrect. So that's where we're in opposition to each other, regardless, whether we stay or make the change.
so instead of 5-hour paid
It's 4 hours.
unproductive lunchtime, come back to 4.
Yeah.
And that's not really fair for me to say unproductive, because I know there are people that eat lunch here and work.
Yeah.
Or take 15, 20 minutes of work and then go back to work.
Or do it at home.
Yep.
Yeah, we need to clean up the policy one way or the other. And I'm assuming that the intent of the vote today is to leave the lunch being paid.
No reason to change it.
that would be my take.
Got something else, Tom?
I'm just gonna make a quick calculation here. But
Any other discussion? Any public comment?
Lucas has his hand raised.
Lucas. Can you hear us? Lucas?
He's unmuted, I don't know.
Okay, can you hear me?
Gotcha.
We got
All
you
right.
now.
Hopefully I don't have too much feedback.
Very good.
So what are we doing about the holidays then that end up being on Monday?
We had discussed that, I guess, offline. We haven't totally gone through and looked at what all that holiday schedule looks like. So that might be a good thing for that first review meeting for sure to make sure that all lines up. But as far as that goes, normally, I guess, as of now, with like Road and Bridge, if we have a holiday on Monday, they work Tuesday through Thursday. Correct. They
Correct.
don't end up working on a Friday. They would get that Monday off. And also, if there's a holiday on a Friday, they take off Thursday.
Correct.
So I think that's something that we could certainly review and make a determination on. But as of now, that's the way Road and Bridge currently works with that 4-day week, and I assumed we would at least initially follow that.
Okay, and I agree. I think a 4-day work week, 3-day weekend, whether it's Friday off or Monday off, doesn't really matter. I think it's always shown, either in my own personal life or in those that have been employed by me, that personnel do better, and they're happier. They're happier employees. So I can see, and I support this move. I just wonder, we're paying for 40 hours. Are we getting 40 hours? And that's my biggest concern of it all. And I'd rather work straight 8 and out the gate than take an hour for lunch. And I've always been against an hour lunchtime. People get demotivated really quick. And those that work through lunch, and I'd rather work through lunch. But that's my own personal opinions. But I think it's if we can do it, and we can go to 410s, it's a whole lot better off, and it does fit with our school schedule and items like that. So it makes sense. It makes sense for our community, and it makes sense for our county. And I think what you said was very correct. I use it, the courthouse to, and if the courts weren't there and they were in a separate building, it would run different. That building would operate differently than what it operates now. But it's a very multi-function facility. And if it was just the county offices, it would operate differently and would be easier to go to the 410s. So just my 2 cents. But I hope we can do this for our county employees. So thank you.
Thank you, Lucas. Elliot, you have your hand up?
Yes, thank you, Kevin. Could you please just restate the motion again, just so I'm sure I understand where it's at currently? Thank you.
I hate it when you do that to me.
Sorry, I'm not trying to wreck your day. I'm just trying to be accurate.
Okay, the motion is to move forward with a 4-day work week, working Monday through Fridays, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Monday through Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what we're
excuse me.
currently.
I was reading the current deal. So let me start over. See, I told you I didn't like it. It would be a 4-day work week, Monday through Thursday. And that would be, hours would be 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. And that would be commencing on August 1st. And with a review on August 31st. And at that time, we would set up a second review for this system.
Okay, time to be determined then.
Yes,
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
you bet. Bill.
So what Lucas pointed out was a good point, and where I was is sometime during we clean up the policy, there's no reason in the world you couldn't accommodate somebody working through lunch. It's what we're paying for is 40 hours. They want to work through lunch and take the time difference, and that's something we can consider, but that's something to work on policy. But what we're discussing here is moving to the flat state of what the motion is.
And I agree. I think that's something that's certainly, when we've talked about like childcare or dropping off kids at the school, it would be nice to have some flex time. That
Sure.
would be one place where we could, if you
Exactly
took
right.
15 minutes off of lunch, but you came in at 7:45.
Most
after you
people
dropped
then
the
look at
kids
their
off.
lunch as maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, something to work later, not to bog this down.
Any other public comment? Okay, I'm not seeing any hands.
Adrian, Washington.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Does this apply to all departments or only to the courthouse employees?
Excluded OEM. And actually, Adrian, your department, you're emergency services, so you're on call all the time.
Okay, so we can use it as appropriately for some employees, but that answers my question. Thank you.
Yeah, Adrian, my understanding is this motion is for the employees that work in the county building.
You say county building,
Yeah, county building on the front there.
because we know road and bridge are doing their thing.
Road and bridge is there. Sheriff's Department is roughly there, but 24/7 coverage.
And I think, speaking to you, Adrian, I think you have kind of a flex schedule
Anyway.
because of your situation already in place, am I correct in that?
Yes, sir, you are correct.
It doesn't affect you.
I would suggest though that, based on, I guess it would be a conversation with Jared, but it sounds like he's more or less.
When he was
with this
here, that was
via-
understood that
Yeah.
that was part of his
Okay.
gig.
Just wanted to make sure that was.
What was part of
That
it?
was just, he was considered a county building employee, because that's what he was here specifically for that. Today, I'm surprised.
Well, he's already dealing with pretty much Fridays out of the office anyway.
Right.
That's not to say he's not doing VSO work either.
No, but he was intending to stay with whatever the program is here. At least that's what he told me.
Just given that being a little different, I wanted to make sure that was clear. There's questions on it.
Double check.
Yeah, we certainly open ourselves up to a lot of questions, public health, landfill, VSO, OEM. So
Yeah, he
I was
the only
looking at
one
this as the
other-
employees in this building. If it's different than that, then we share that conversation.
So I would agree, and I think as far as like the VSO, he pretty well sets his schedule. I don't think
Need to check.
it would
with him, 'cause he was-
affect him one way or the other, where he has a flexible schedule. Anyhow, similar to say Adrian,
Landfill's the same way.
they have their own situations that dictate their hours.
I did talk to public health, they're on their own.
So I would say that it includes everyone in this office and then, or this building. Is what my understanding was. Garrett pretty well sets his hours.
Yeah.
Due to the needs that he has.
So he's not part of this, is what you're
I
saying.
would say he's not actually a part of this.
I need to understand why he was here.
Landfill, OEM, VSO, public health, not part of this.
Correct. And like you said, Adrian's on call 24 hours a day. So he's kind of sets his own hours. Jared does so to accommodate the veterans. in
That's
the
where he
way
was
sees
initially.
fit. Landfill spoke to that issue on their own, so I would say it is the county building. Is that correct, sir?
Mhm.
Okay, so we're all voting on the same issue here.
Right.
Any other discussion? Thought I saw a hand come up once and disappeared here. Okay,
Yeah, it was me, Kevin.
okay,
I was essentially just gonna say, I was at that last meeting, purely to support my coworkers. And I already follow a pseudo schedule of, I cut my Fridays in the office short to be in the field anyway. So, yeah, if there's any confusion with that.
But if I may, Jared, cutting your office hours short to be in the field has nothing to do with whether you're on a 4-day week or not, right? You're still working on Fridays.
Yes, right now, yeah, I still work on Fridays.
And we would continue to expect to do that. We would continue to expect you to work on Fridays unless we have a different conversation. Is that the correct statement?
Yeah, and if I work, if I do a 12 hours on a Monday, then obviously I'm gonna deduct that from a Friday, just because my job, there's some days like I'll get called out by people for help or whatever, and I'm doing more than an 8-hour day on Monday, and I'm gonna make up for that. So yeah, I'll work the 40, but how I work that 40 is obviously gonna be in flex with the need of the veterans.
You're flexing anyway.
Yes, sir.
And thank you for being flexible, sir.
All right.
Anything else? And thank you for that. Those in favor then of moving forward with a 4-day work week as stated, signify by saying aye.
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 For the county building.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. Continue to work on all this.
That means tourism's working only 4
Yeah.
days.
On Friday.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I needed that
That gives
day.
you, if you
You're gonna
take
add
time
one.
off for a honeymoon or something, you may have to come in on Fridays to make up.
Right, yeah, exactly. That sounds good.
Thanks for doing all that.
Thank you. And I will,
Jordan, did you make coffee?
I will share some of that raw
I'm
data
going
with you all,
to.
because there's some interesting things there. I think probably more.
Okay, I will call for a short break. All righty.
The owl just lit up its eyeballs.
You're lying.
All right, this is Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners. I will reconvene this meeting. It is now 10:22 a.m. Next item up for business is consideration of core services contract for the human services. Stacy, can you hear us now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning. Did you want to speak to this any at all up front?
I mean, sure. So every year we submit what's called a core services plan to the state. This plan is funded by the state. It's not money that comes from the county. It is money that comes from the state. And basically, these are services that we have available that we can provide to families if they are needed. So that's basically what it is. The services that we offer are outlined in the plan. I believe you all got emailed a copy of it. And that's basically it.
Okay, is that, I believe we all received a DocuSign document. Is that needed to be signed by all three or just one?
It should be signed by all three, and I put like on the DocuSign, it has like little stickies for where you needed to sign.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You heard me yellow stickies in this.
It's in the
On the,
in
computer, right?
Yes.
Stacy, if I may, this Tom, is this for the remainder of 22 and the first half of 23, or is this for 2022?
So the core services plan, it goes from June 30th all the way through May 30th. So it goes from this year all the way through next year, and then we start over on June 1st.
All right, thanks. That's what I was thinking. I would move that we
State budget.
approve the core services contract for human services.
I can second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the core services contract for human services. Any further discussion? Do we have any public discussion? Not seeing any hands. Those in favor then of approving the core services contract for human services signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. We will get that signed for you, Stacy.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. Okay, next item up would be the consideration of the landfill fees.
Here comes the land.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good morning to you.
You're ready this time.
Ready? I'm always ready.
You were ready the last time.
Yeah. The only thing, and I don't know if you guys have a copy of this, which is.
Did you email it or?
Yeah.
We have a copy.
I
didn't get a hard copy. So.
Is for the trash companies, it's gonna be $11.30, not $12.
So the fourth line down,
The third,
$11.
$11.30. We're gonna just bump it $2, just like the household trash cubic yards, it's 12. So it was a $2 bump instead of bumping it $2.70, we'll just bump them $2. So
that's the only change.
And that's the only change from the last time, yeah. And I just forgot to change that. That was my plan all along.
And we don't have the ability to change it on our copy.
Right.
So could you?
I'll do it.
Send us a
Yeah.
new one.
Yeah.
Okay, right. All right, I move we accept his proposed fee changes as he's proposing to change them.
Yeah, all right.
To update.
Yeah.
Second. We have a motion on the floor to approve the Custer County landfill fee changes as presented with the change to the
correcting
the commercial. Any further discussion on that?
Yeah, I would request, for the sake of the public that doesn't have the ability to look at these documents, if you could just go down through and tell us what those changes were real quick.
Okay, so right now, or currently, a bag trash is $2 a bag, up to 3 bags. And then after that, it becomes a cubic yard, which is $10. And that's household trash, that's construction and demolition, that's, anything, right? And then, so the trash companies currently are $9.30 for a cubic yard. And that will jump up to $11.30 for the cubic
Okay,
yard.
so we're going from $2 a bag to $3.
$3 a bag.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then from, on the trash companies, from $9.
$9.30 to $11.30.
$2 on
Okay.
Yep. And then the only other change was now for a cubic yard it's 10, and now we're gonna go to 12.
Yeah.
And then the only other change was for passenger car and light truck tires. They're currently $4, and now they'll be 5. And the rest is the same.
Okay.
Passenger cars are 4, did you say?
Currently, they're 4.
So if you wanted it to be $4, you needed to do it yesterday.
Let's see. Well, we haven't said when this is effective. When is this effective?
Well, that's what we need to talk about too. Find out when we want to implement it. And
I wanna get my tires.
my suggestion would be to do it the sooner the better. I mean, obviously, we got to get it in the papers and stuff so
Right.
people know. But, once people start finding out that they're going to go up, then we're just going to get more.
Why don't we finish this motion and then
Sure.
propose?
Yeah, I would move to amend the motion by adding the words effective August the 8th. That gives us a little over a week.
Not time to get it in the paper very well.
Good time.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
Would the 8th work, or would we need to go like to the 15th?
No reason why we can't.
Well, notification time, I do understand.
Right.
Everybody will make the rush to beat the deadline.
Yeah, I'd like the 15th. That way, that'll give me time to email, the papers and find out if we can get them in there by then. And then, yeah, that's the only thing. I mean, a lot of people still aren't gonna know until they get out there. I mean,
So I will amend my motion to include making it effective on the 15th. Is the 15th the
Monday.
This Monday?
so that'd be the 16th. then. So we're closed on Mondays.
Yeah, so that's the 16th is all right.
So it could take effect on, but we can do 16th.
Mhm.
There's not much to do out there as far as the
You
sign.
just gotta be there.
Right. Unless we wanted to talk to Adrian and use one of them signs for a month or something saying.
You could say,
landfill
you could put it out there.
Rates have changed,
Rates have changed at X. That's a good idea.
just caution, rates have changed type of deal.
Make sure you got your money with you.
Yeah, and then we can hand out sheets. We already do hand out sheets.
We probably should post this on the website too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I'm good.
Okay, so the
I'm-
motion has been amended. Who seconded
Well, he
that?
restated it.
Or restated it,
Stated
okay.
it.
To take same motion to take effect on August 16th. Any other discussion? Elliot, you have your hand up?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, so do I understand correctly? Are you planning to send a press release to the papers about the rates going up?
I can actually I don't know if we can run a section to where we can actually put the actual whole fee sheet in the paper. I've done that before.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that, because I can include the rates, rate changes in the article. I would just need you or somebody to email them to me.
Right,
Um, Yeah. Just checking to make sure I know how the best way to disseminate the information would be.
Well, and I think it'd be easier for people to understand looking at the fee sheet as opposed to
Okay.
it being written in an article. I mean,
Great. Yeah. So yeah, if you can just send that to us, we can print it. Thank you.
The sheet.
Thank you, Elliot. Okay, anything else in here? Not seeing any other hands raised. Those in favor then of the landfill rate changes to be effective August 16th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion carries.
Send me a clean copy.
yeah, I will. I'll get this.
Yeah. Include the two papers.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All righty, guys.
That's pretty much painless and everything.
Yeah, that was good.
Thanks.
Okay.
Have a good day.
All right, no.
Next item we have up is the ratification of signature on the letter for the audit extension. I did sign that to get sent in because we were not going to make our July 29th deadline on our audit. And so I would ask that we ratify that signature here today.
Yeah, I would move we ratify the action of the chairman signing the letter for the audit extension.
I'll second it.
Garrett Ross, if you know.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to ratify my signature on the letter for the audit extension. Any further discussion? Anything? Public comment? Not seeing anything.
Did the extension have a date? I don't know.
Yes, it did have a date. The date that it is, I could not tell you off of the top of my head. I believe it was a 60-day extension, but I would not swear to anything one way or the other. Those in favor then of ratifying my signature for the audit extension signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next item is a ratification of a letter of engagement with Aaron Ross and Donardo Incorporated, which I also signed.
Brazenly, I might add.
Yes,
You brazenly signed.
I brazenly signed it after asking around. That is a letter that they needed in place before they filed this audit, because of the wording changes that were being required to be in place before they could even file this audit. And I believe you guys saw that letter. So I would ask today that we ratify that letter of engagement.
And we ratify the letter of engagement with Garrett Ross and Donardo.
I would second that motion with Garen Ross and Donardo.
Garen, yeah.
That's a 5-year.
That is a 5-year, so we were in our 3rd year with the previous. So that does take us basically an extra 2 years. With
7 years.
Yes.
So I voiced my concern before. I think that is a long time to stay with one auditing company, but they're treating us well currently, so I'm sure there's a exit clause in there.
We can fire them
It
anytime.
wasn't, but
Yes. I know in my conversations with Sam, there has been a lot of unbilled hours that on the last couple of years on these audits that have basically been written off, so they have to stay within the terms of the agreement.
Clint, did you see this contract?
Yeah, I did actually.
Is there a penalty if we fire them?
No,
I didn't think so.
no, we can.
We can do it if we want.
I mean, we actually can't contract or shouldn't be contracting for anything for more than a year.
That's right. So unless it has that clause, so we don't.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't hold a future board to this contract.
And then if they did, it wouldn't matter because the board can unload them.
Right.
Any other discussion? Here. Not seeing any hands raised online. So those in favor then of ratifying the letter of engagement with Garen, Ross and DiNardo signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Just as an aside, when I was in private practice many years ago, my office was it's the Wells Fargo building now, probably right next door to Garen, Ross and DiNardo, where they were at the time. Sam and I spent many an hour standing at the urinal side by side. I thought you'd like to know that.
That's a picture.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I just always like to throw in, the kind of information you
The
need.
human side of county government.
well, thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next item that we have on our agenda is the consideration of airport fuel purchase. I know since we put this on, they did receive a partial load. And so my question would be, is this something that we still are considering at this time, or are they back in cycle? where
No,
they
they're
can-
back in. What we're gonna have to consider is the big load when they get it. When we get the tank to where they can take a full load. Because then we're gonna have to figure out how to pay for that up front to get it back. Get it there. They're in cycle now. They're not working on paper. They're not, what do you call it? When they're red, they're not overspent.
Because of the transfer the other day.
Right. So they're good. We just gotta handle it when they understand when they're gonna be able to take a load. We're gonna have to see what the cost is then. Fuel prices are then.
So this would probably be a matter to be taken up at that time.
Yeah. We don't know what the price is.
Well, sounds like I would move that we take no action on
Right.
consideration of the fuel purchase.
I'll say that.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to take no action on the airport fuel purchase. Any further discussion on that?
I have a question, but it doesn't pertain to this specifically. So
Yeah, I have a point to make that doesn't pertain to it either.
Okay. We will ask that question then. Those in favor of taking no action on the airport fuel purchase signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Additional items of business then, gentlemen.
Yes, if I may. We should have commissioner comment at the end because it's really not an item of business. It's more of a comment, but I'll make it. So I think we should at least enter into a conversation with the airport board and find a firm date that new tank is going to be ready to deal fuel. We dropped 85 grand on it and we haven't sold a drop out of it. I know why. I just think we need to get that taken care of and get fuel in it and get it done.
I agree. They have that plan. We ought to get it from It was an issue of getting the concrete apron ready so that you could taxi up to. So I think it's a good idea. We can put it on the agenda for next week. They're coming in anyway.
If we make a notation then to make sure that we address that when they come in for their.
Yeah, I'll make sure they have the plan.
Okay.
Along that line, fuels there, we did tremendous an impact to them by how it was perceived that they were out of gas. So that they're recovering from that, because a lot of people are saying, you sure gonna have gas? And a lot of people decided not to come for certain reasons. But the chip seal is not going to be done until after the Air Fest. Let everybody know that. First, they were trying to get it in before because it would have been nice and black and a pretty, been a prettier runway, because they were going to fog seal it after the fact. But just want to make that point, and they do have fuel for the Air Fest now, so there's plenty of fuel. So we need to make sure everybody, if anybody asks you a question, they're not out of fuel.
Right. And I'm sure they posted that out there.
Oh yeah, they've got it everywhere.
And then if I may, I'd like to reach out to Braden real quick and find out if we have a tentative date to interview for administrative assistant vacancy. Ask him when it's here, but I forgot.
By all means.
By the way, I've had several people ask me if we were still advertising for it.
Pardon?
Hey, Braden.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Brandon.
Well, there he is, right there.
He's got important business for me.
Oh, he's got your check, doesn't he?
Yes. Well, now I'm stuck.
You getting any
Well,
new
it's just-
applicants?
I
Or the
was just asking if you had a tentative date to interview applicants for admin assistant.
I don't, but we can certainly do that. If we want to discuss that.
I got Clint's check here. $1,000. Did you get $1,000?
That's what paychecks.
So originally I'd said that we'd close on the 31st, and then probably
Call me before the weekend.
Yeah.
Any news?
I'm not sure we would be able to get people in next week. But at least notify people at that point, unless we want to try to push that for like a Wednesday. Which I guess would be a Wednesday afternoon, because we have a BOCC meeting.
See, Wednesday afternoon, we have a board of health.
Okay.
We can do that.
Wednesday afternoon. Because you're gonna be gone subsequent to that.
We
So
should do it.
Do it before you leave, or we do it on our own.
Yeah.
How many are there?
As of now, there's at least two.
Speak up.
At least two as of now.
I'd like to do it on Wednesday if you
Okay.
You said we had a board of health schedule for that.
1:30. It'll go quick.
can. 1:30 to 2:30 at the most, but then maybe we could meet at 3 and
Do two of them. We can do it.
we don't know how many because the deadline's not
In the
closed yet. So
So 3 o'clock, kind of being, 3 to
Or
3 to
Thursday.
5 or 3 to.
are you around on Thursday?
No.
I won't be here on Thursday, and not that. I should like sit in.
We'll go with that because Clint can't be here.
Can we set it up to meet as a committee at 2:30 and interview at 3? For you guys.
Works for me. Let's
So
do
which
it.
day are you doing, Thursday,
Make her happen.
next week?
Next
Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay, I can't be.
So that's 3 o'clock.
Let's meet at 2:30. huh?
Yep, meet at 2:30 and then
probably half hour for each.
Yeah. I'm just gonna block through 5:30 there.
Will that will give you plenty of time to get all your checks and balances done.
And what I'll go ahead and do is the interviews that I have that are eligible, just go ahead and extend that invitation now, so we'll get ahead of it. And then if there happens to be any more that come in,
Right.
we'll
Right.
give
Yeah,
them
let the ones that we
turn
have
around.
know.
Yep.
Yeah. That works for me, works for everybody else. You guys good with that?
Yes.
Double check. I've got an upper arc meeting, I believe. I gotta make sure it's on. You have a conflict.
That'd be with BOH rather than the interview.
Right. Yeah, well, I have to get back from that. Yeah, do it online.
Good with that. I guess while you're still here, then I would also, we need to go ahead and when would you all like to visit about the PIO position?
Before you change
Oh, go ahead.
gears, because that is a conflict. This closes out on the 31st or today.
It closes out the 31st.
So
We're gonna try to do it on Tuesday.
I'd like to try it Tuesday.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
That'd be a lot more room to.
I can do similar time on Tuesday.
So 3 o'clock on Tuesday.
Meeting at 2:30.
Yeah.
And then first interview at 3.
There is a workshop Tuesday, right, at 1:30? Attainable housing.
I don't have it.
I don't have it on my calendar.
Okay. Well, maybe I got screwed up. I wrote it in here, but that was some time ago.
You would know, Kevin, right?
We did set up a date for one, but I don't have it on mine for Tuesday.
You showing some other date?
Oh, real quick and ask him.
Look here. Tuesday, August
Workshop.
3rd, from 10 to 11.
Sounds like you got a conflict anyway.
Well,
Wait, you said Tuesday,
We
August
have
3rd? Is it
commission.
August
No,
3rd or
that's,
Wednesday?
I take that back. That is.
It's not on my calendar.
No, that, that's August 3rd from last year. Go figure how it shows up.
You got here
That
early.
was in regards to the lots that I just purchased. I do remember we
I sent a text, let's see.
had talked about that, so, but I do not have it in my calendar.
Who's running it? I mean, who's requesting?
We requested to meet with our Attainable Housing Board to
So.
revitalize the
Right,
program.
whether we're gonna do it.
And
Nobody got back to you on it, maybe?
whether or not we neglected to get that out. I do not have it on my calendar. And now, especially with these new lots on board, if it's not set up, it's something we do need to set up.
We'll also need to post the workshop. The interview workshop.
Are we going to come out of the workshop and have a special meeting? Rather than calling a meeting after the fact?
Well, we'll be meeting the next day.
Yeah, it could be added to the agenda for the
We
third.
added on the 3rd.
Okay.
I just said that though, we should be thinking about that as soon as we plan interviews.
It'll work out fine this time. We just gotta remember to get it on there. Are we having a Board of Health meeting on the 3rd?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not your conflict.
No, that's the upper arc.
So are you gonna be able to, is the Board of Health gonna be a conflict with the upper arc? Because one's at 1 and one's at 1:30.
That's right.
That's your bigger.
That's a bigger
than the
conflict.
interview.
That's what I'm looking at. I cared about the interview. Let's do the interview. I'll work with, we may be able to cancel. It's nothing new.
Well, we're doing the interviews on the 2nd.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So I'll,
Board of Health is scheduled for the 3rd.
right. So let me look into moving it.
All right, sir, thank you. So we'll meet at 2:30 and interview at 3.
Yes.
And it needs to be posted as a closed workshop.
Yes. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your life.
Yeah.
Which is about to change.
Bring your stuff over at your office when we're done here. Okay. See you then if you make another trip. As long as the important people got their money.
While we're waiting to see if he contacts you back,
Order of reverse importance.
because we had talked about discussing on that with the sheriff's office, whether that office moves back to them or not, so. And I think we need to have that conversation and move ahead on the PIO position. So that's why I'm bringing it up now to see what you gentlemen would like to do. If we were gonna meet with the sheriff's office, we need to schedule with them as well. If we want to move
Yeah, I
ahead with the
think we
same
should.
format, then we wouldn't need to do that, but I know we had a lot of discussion about that the other day.
Yeah, I support workshop with sheriff. It's a little awkward because we're gonna be the sheriff until January, but
Well, we need to do it. We gotta do the budget. Anyway.
Yeah, and I don't think that we need to wait till January
I
to
hate to.
do anything about the position either, so.
The new sheriff just have to deal with whatever decision they make.
Sure. And the new sheriff is supposed to be being the deputy sheriff, basically. They can work it together.
So, yeah, and if that's taking place, then they can be a part of that conversation. What would look good to you gentlemen as far as setting something up there? I would be available the 11th or the 12th. The first part of that week is treatments in Colorado Springs, so we will not be. I could do that Thursday or Friday. I could even do Friday the 5th.
We're closed on Fridays.
Oh, yeah, we're closed on-
Get with.
My bad. I have to start.
The 12th would work for me.
We're closed on Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Friday.
I'm sorry, the 11th, Thursday.
Thursday, the 11th.
What time?
I'm open all day that day.
At 10 o'clock airport board meeting, so let's do it right after that.
Gonna do it 1 o'clock, 1:30.
One, get it over.
Yeah, workshop.
Or you'll reach out to the sheriff.
Yes, I will.
Where?
I would say here.
Yeah, I've got a meeting to hire an extension, but that's at 8 or 8:30, so should be good.
The clock works.
Yeah.
Okay. No response back from Mr. Bogle.
No, sir.
Why don't we go ahead and stay with what we got, since none of us had that, and we will reach out if that is a conflict, we will reschedule that. Does that sound agreeable to you guys?
What did we have? I don't know if we had anything.
If we had something set up as a workshop, we didn't have anything posted either, so.
Just wrote it in my.
So in other words, we need to schedule an affordable housing meeting. Right, we don't have one
Yeah.
scheduled now.
To the best of my knowledge, none of us have it. Clint had one wrote down, but none of us do
And that
that.
was from several weeks ago. I wrote that in there. I don't remember.
Information, I'll see if I can get him by phone, but
Yes, go ahead. Reach out to Dorothy to see if she remembers anything.
do we want Dorothy to set in our admin assistant interview?
That would be good. If
Hey,
she
Dorothy. I was calling to find out, do you remember if we ever said anything out with the planning board as far as a workshop? We discussed it, but I don't know if we set anything up.
Hey, Charles, Tom Flower, how are you?
Well, Clint had it in his calendar, but nobody else did, so. But anyhow, we'll have a couple things that we're setting up here that I might let you know about in your spare time or something, if Jordan doesn't take care of it. We're working on a date now because the dates that Clint had, we just set up
admin assistant /
a
IT.
different.
$34
meeting. So
an
I'll
hour?
give you the stuff that we got because we'll have to post the interviews
It's 1 hour a week.
for your job here. And then I guess another question is, would you like to sit in on those or not? Okay. So we'll let you know about that. You can sit in on those. All right. Thanks. Bye. She remembers discussing it, but she did not set anything up that she's aware of.
We just, as far as I know, we discussed needing to get a meeting scheduled,
Okay.
and that was it, but. I got hold of Charles, and he's traveling, so we lost him.
Okay.
So I didn't get to ask him.
So he's not,
There's obviously not a workshop schedule.
No.
Sorry, sir. I know you were counting on it.
I was, I mean, those are so exciting, those attainable housing workshops.
That's for August 11th at 1 o'clock.
And did you let Dorothy know we were doing the interviews on the 2nd?
I told her we had it, but I didn't tell her the date,
Okay.
so
I'll follow up with it.
she said she would post that. August 2nd at 2:30. Okay, so anything else today, sir? Sirs?
I have nothing.
and here,
Okay, any public comment at this time? Yes,
I just want to acknowledge the opening of the recycling center and all the people that showed up, including the two of you. And it looks like there was a little issue with the machine. that you learned about?
Well, yeah, the only issue was we tried a different method of tying a bale and it didn't work.
Oh, okay. So stick to the way it's supposed to be? But very impressive. Really nice to have that facility.
Yeah, I was out there yesterday. They're collecting cardboard and cans. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, the one cage now is full.
What's that?
One cage of aluminum cans is now full.
All right.
So,
People drink a lot of beer.
yeah. Well, a lot of Coke cans in there too. I'm not a Coke drinker, but yeah, to that end, if I may, the collection point on Lake Louise Road north of the fairgrounds is up and running, functional. And people are using it. So we've got our signs up there. We just need to promote that a little more.
Better in recycling than in the landfill.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Did you get the text I just sent?
No. Any other public comment? Okay, we have no executive session. I will adjourn this meeting at 11:03.